Hello everybody, it's 8:30, so it's time for the Worktable Wednesday, and you saw the question I posed, is it too soon to talk about Christmas? Well, I don't think it's ever too soon or too early to talk about Christmas, and so tonight we are going to work with the Tag Buffet Christmas Kit. Now in the catalog, in the August-December mini catalog, this is towards the front of the offerings right here, and as Stampin' Up! Does every year, they present a tag kit every year that makes somewhere between 24 and 30 cards, tags. So tonight I'm going to show you the way the tag kit looks when you open it. This part right here, the upper half of the table or the page, is the tag kit. This is the corresponding stamp set that you use to create the tags. The tags come with pre-made tag bases, some pre-cut embellishments, some ribbons or fibers, and then we will stamp on those cards and the parts and assemble the kit. To create the kit, you need to have the stamp set with the kit, 4 shades of ink. You've got Garden Green, Real Red, and Shaded Spruce, 3 shades, and Stampin' Dimensionals. So you have 2 greens and a red, a stamp kit, a stamp set, dimensionals, which I love my dimensionals, and it never hurts to have a pair of scissors as well. So why don't we get ready to open this and see what's in the kit. Now I want to let you know that I'm beginning my Countdown to Christmas class series beginning later this month. It's going to be on the 3rd Tuesday of the month, so it'll be on the 16th, I believe. I've got to look at my dates again. And the one in October is actually the class in October is actually going to be making this kit. The first class in September will be a series of 6 cards, 3 cards, two copies of 3 cards each, and a small 3D project. That's $20. $20 or free with a $25 purchase from my catalog, so you can think about doing that. The second class in October is going to be the Tag Buffet kit, and I'm going to do that one in person. So I will have the option for you to do this in person, and so we will have $35 for the price of the kit. Now that's the kit's $30, but that gets the kit here to me, the shipping, and then you will be able to use my stamps and my ink if you do it here in person. Now, if we do it in person, there are some restrictions. We've got to be properly spaced, and I also have to ask you to fill out a small questionnaire prior to us coming into the house, just because I'm just not comfortable yet. We went out to dinner last night, my husband and I did, after we ran a couple of errands, and I thought, well, I think I'm ready to start getting out and seeing how things go. And I will tell you, after eating dinner, I was not quite comfortable and ready to do that yet. So I'm glad to know what my limitations are. So without any further ado, the other 2 classes will be in November and in December. So there are 4 classes. 3 of them will be a series of cards. This particular class for $35 for the tags, you'll make the 30 tags, and then you'll also make you'll get a free directions for and the supplies to make 3 more cards with full payment of your class. So I'm going to show you this, and then we are going to I'm going to show you one other card that I've made using one of these stamps from the Tag Buffet, because these are great stamps. These are basic, Merry Christmas, an ornament, a stocking, 'tis the season, with love for you, and the 2 froms you can use for birthdays, and you could use with love for you on the birthdays. There's nothing that says this has to be Christmas. You can always make a tag punch. We have tag punches. We have a number of punches that you could use to create a tag base, and you could make any number of other cards, other event tags. All right, so without any further ado, let's open. Here is the larger scene. You can see the Tag Buffet kit. This is a photopolymer kit, or a set of stamps. So we will be using this with the acrylic blocks. And this is, may the good times of today become the cherished memories of tomorrow. Wishing you lots of love, joy, and happiness. And, you know, obviously, because of the way the text is written, this is something that you could actually ink just a portion of it, or you could ink this and then cut out just the sentiment that you want, the wishing you lots of love, joy, and happiness. You could even use that for a wedding gift. So there's lots of versatility with this set of stamps. So let me go ahead and do that. And then while we're opening this, I'm going to go ahead and grab my ink. It's Shaded Spruce, Garden Green, let's see, and Real Red. I rearranged my table last week, and I'm very pleased. I don't know if I've mentioned that yet or not, but I'm very pleased with the results of rearranging. I have a little bit more room on my table, which just means I have a little bit more room to stack things. So, you know, so one of the things that Stampin' Up! Has done lately is, you know, this is a great box. This is completely not branded. There's no printing on it. So it would be very easy to take this box and put this in your gift closet. This would make a lovely packaging to give a gift to a friend, to gift this kit, to gift the finished product. And like a lot of our boxes, this actually can be unfolded and refolded with the red stripes on the outside. So this is very similar to our paper pumpkin boxes. So one thing I love about Stampin' Up! Is they do have great boxes. So like a lot of our kits, it's going to come shrink wrapped. So I'm going to simply cut it open right here. And what you'll notice when we flip it over is that there are color instructions on the front. So let's go ahead and take the bases out and just set them aside, and then cut this the rest of the way. You know, Stampin' Up! Does a great job with their kits. They are completely, they're very well described. They have very good directions in them. And we're really lucky that we have that. And they come shrink wrapped, so they don't have a tendency to get damp. So like our kits, so what you'll know here is that it says stamps. Number 1 is to stamp it in Garden Green. Number 2 is to stamp it in Real Red. Number 3 is to stamp it in Shaded Spruce. And then you're going to adhere things, and then you're going to cut loops of strings of ribbon. Excuse me, strings of ribbon. It comes in 4 languages, and then here are the color descriptions of how to make each of the cards, or each of the tags. Excuse me, each of the tags. So this has 6 tags. We'll make 5. Now I'm only going to make 1 of each tonight, but let's go ahead and flip through this. So we have looks like the white bases, and then we've got some backing. So let's look at the backing. So these are beautiful pieces of cardstock. These are going to be printed. These are going to be similar to our specialty DSP because it's got foil on it. So that's got gold foil dots. This also has gold foil amongst the holly berries. That looks like it might be mistletoe. This, obviously, you can see that screen. That's beautiful. I love that. But, you know, I love red. Here's another green. This looks like some sort of a spruce. There's 5 of those. Oh, you know, the thing I like almost as much as polka dots are stripes. Oh, look at that. Those are 2 of my favorites. So this mimics the inside of the box that this is packaged in. So we have 2 red bases, 4 green bases. Then on top of that, we have some die cut. It looks like some very nice die cut tag sets. And so they have these that have the gold outline on them. Let's see. Where's the shape in? There we go. So it has this gold around the edges that we'll stamp inside of. And then you can see it's already pre-die cut. So you've got that detail to go with. And then what we'll do is these will be stacked on top of each other. So let's go ahead and separate our things. Now, when you do a kit like this, let me say there are a couple of ways you can do it. Now, you can stop and do 1 tag at a time. And I'm just going to do 1 tag tonight. But I mean 1 of each of the designs tonight. But if I were making this on my own, I would have simply lined this. Oh, look at these with the stars. So you have gold stars, and then you have the cutouts behind it with the cutouts. That is pretty awesome. I think that would be beautiful paper to have. But those of you that know me, No, I have a problem with paper. I love designer series paper. Can't get enough of it. So the other thing that comes with the kit is, so you can see we have the die cut, the pre-printed die cut trees. And looks like we've got 2, 4, 6, 8. Looks like we have 10 of those. So we have 2 of the tags that are going to use the tree. We have the ornament and the stocking that are they almost look like they're watercolor, but not really. And so we have 5 of each of those. And then we also have this cardinal and the spray of the holly, and then the grouping of gifts. So you actually will end up with more supplies than you need to make the 30 cards, to make the 30 tags. But you know what? We've got paper, and when you pay for this class with the $35 for the kit class, I'll provide you the PDF and the supplies to make 3 cards using the leftovers from your kit. And then the other thing that Stampin' Up! Provides are the banners. You see you have 2 fishtail banners here, one with a single fishtail end there, and then this general rectangle. So what I normally do is I go through and I just pop these out of the dies. They've been cut with a die, so they just separate very easily. And then this way I can get everything stacked up on my desk, and makes it a little bit less to have to maneuver. Now when I finish with this, since I'm only making 1 of each of these tonight, I will take these and put them in a Ziploc zip baggie, a little plastic bag that will go in with my kit. So when I finish these, I'll have everything will stay nice and neat. That's just the way I do it. So we'll get these separated. Now, on the class in October, now September is going to be a virtual class only. What we'll do then is I'll do the class online, and if you order as a part of that class, then I will send you the supplies to make the card that I make. You'll have to use your own stamps and ink, but if you have your own stamps and ink, you can modify whatever card I make in October to match whatever you will have on hand. That has become a relatively popular way to do these kind of cards, especially in these times when we're social distancing and not being in face-to-face with people. Some people find that a little challenging, but I will say that it's also a little freeing, because you don't necessarily have to use the kit, or excuse me, the set that I'm making. You can use the set that you have on hand. All right, so those pieces are all cut. So let me just flip you through this and show you very quickly how this is going to work. So for tag number 1, we are going to need the base that has the holly berries and the stars. We'll set that aside, and then we're going to pick up a stocking and one of the single-tailed banners, and we're going to put that right here. Let's grab the stamp set and an acrylic block, and then we need to look and see what color that will be. Now if you have this kit, you can read along and see, and can anyone tell me what color this step should be? I'll have to go back and get into the directions. Has anybody said anything? Anybody? Okay. All right. It's going to be step 3. So that tells us, and I say that it's, so there's the 3. Can you see the 3? It's a step 3. And then step 3 is stamp in shaded spruce. Okay. So we'll get our shaded spruce out. And let's get our foam mat, because this is a photopolymer stamp. So tap, tap, tap. It looks like we've got pretty good coverage. And then we'll come over here and let's see if I can get that stamped on there the right direction and just perfectly. It's a perfect fit. Stamp down, hold it for a count of 3, 5, whatever the number is. Pull it off and look at that. That is gorgeous. And just like Stampin' Up! Does, look how crisp that image is. I mean, that's beautiful. It looks like it's been printed almost. And you see that, how nice that is? So let's close this ink pad. And we're going to do that. Now, to assemble these, let's just go back and look and see what they say. To assemble, cut 12 inches in the trim, loop through holes. Okay. All right, so what we do is we adhere this piece to the stocking using dimensionals. And those, you know, are the die cut foam dimensionals. They're called dimensionals. They're foam adhesives from Stampin' Up! You can see they're little hexagons. And the joke what we have is, where in the world can you find the dimensional backing? These little pieces of paper, you can see the little hexagons, they end up in the strangest places. I was at the other end of my house brushing my teeth the other night, and I looked down on the floor and I said, what in the world is that? Well, sure enough, there were dimensionals on my bathroom floor. So we have one that's exposed here. So we've got 2 of them adhering the tag to the stocking. So then let's take the stocking and we'll put dimensionals on it, which means then that we'll put 2 dimensional. Now, let's a little bit of math. So we're going to put dimensionals on the stocking, right? So the tag on the stocking already has 1 layer of dimensionals on it. So for this layer of the stocking to be at the right layer when we put it on the tag, I'm going to have to stack a 2nd dimensional on top. And you know what? That's exactly what you do. It's very, very simple. And that's a way that you can get some variety in your dimensions and in your depth of your cards and your projects simply by stacking your adhesives. It's very simple. And it's a pretty easy little trick. So we'll just peel those little bad boys off. Stick that on there, and then we'll put him right like that. Everything sticks down. Look at that. Isn't that great? So then what we'll do is we'll pop off that center. We're going to cut 12 inches of the ribbon as the directions say. I say we're going to cut 12 inches of the ribbon. Let's see if I can find the end of the ribbon. There it is. Now I work on a self-healing mat that's left over from quilting and sewing days, but I also have this what I call a worksheet, work pad, under my on top of my desk that's paper, so I can stamp on this. This is something that you can purchase from Stampin' Up! It is a great little tool to have on hand. But I really advise using it. It's a great thing to have. So there's my 12 inches. I'm going to trim that off with my snips. So the easiest thing I'm going to recommend doing at this point is you make a loop on your ribbon or on your string, whatever you want to call this. You're going to line up your holes, bring the loop through the hole. Bring the loop through the holes like that. This actually makes what's called a clove hitch. You just open that up and pull these pull these 2 ends through, and then I'm going to even up these ends before I pull this tight so that it doesn't get caught on anything. Then you simply take this and make an overhand knot, and there's your tag, complete and finished. Now, what did I do incorrectly? I did something wrong on this, and I want you to see if anybody can tell me what I did wrong. If you have, you can comment on that. If you don't know what it is, then I will leave that to be the very last thing we talk about. But let's see if anybody is watching and can tell me by commenting on the Facebook Live what I did incorrectly. But now you have a tag with a loop, so it's very easy to tie this on, to slip a piece of ribbon through this when you're tying your package, tape this to the top of the package. Any of those things can happen. So there's tag number 1. So let's set that aside. Tag number 2 is also going to be using the star background. So I would imagine after this, we won't use the star background anymore. We're going to set that aside. So we will pick up the gift tags, and the gifts come on here. We'll put those there, and then we use the double fishtail banner. Let's move our little dimensional scraps out of the way. And in this one, since it's number 1, we're going to use garden green. And let me get a block. And let's get the Merry Christmas out. And I ask the question, is it too early to be talking about Christmas? I don't think that it's too early, simply because, you know, this has been kind of a tough fall for or summer for everyone. And I think that everybody's looking forward to having something fun to look forward to. I mean, that's the whole thing, is that I really have not had a lot to look forward to. I had to cancel a trip with my son and my husband for his graduation, and oops, didn't mean to make that happen. So I am looking forward to doing something for him for Christmas, and I hope that I'm going to have the time to get Christmas gifts made. I'd like to make Christmas gifts now. All right, so here's your double fishtail banner. Now, since this is so big, I'm actually going to take it and ink it this direction rather than putting it the other way. Now you can see I made a big mess, so I pick up my handy dandy. Now I could use my Simply Chamois, but I'll be honest with you, for something like this, I keep paper towels around. I'm messy. I wipe off a lot of excess ink with paper towels. So let's just do this one more time. Let's see if we can keep the rest. There we go. So now let's line this back up. And like I said, if I was making these all at one time, I would have stamped all of the 'Tis the Season banners, and then I would turn around and stamp all of the Merry Christmas banners. And in fact, I'm going to stamp a second Merry Christmas right now, because I see which design is coming up. And it also is going to use garden green. And the thing about these kits from Stampin' Up! Is that, so it uses garden green. You know what? If you don't particularly like garden green and you want it to be all red, then you use red. You can use any colors you want. And if you choose to pick this up and use other paper with it, you can do that as well. Okay, so set that aside. So we've got our 2 tags, our 2 banners for this tag and the next. All right, so let's assemble this one, and you can see how quickly these go together. This is going to go on the green polka dot, and since we are finished with the green polka dot, let's see, we'll put that with that. I have a feeling we're finished with that. So let's pop out the back of that. And then, like I said, the gifts are on the stars. There are my dimensionals. Dimensionals are great. I love them. You know, we have this size dimensional, and then we also have what are the mini dimensionals. So if you're doing something that you want to get some dimension to and is a little smaller, the mini dimensionals are about 1/3 of the size of this. And they're great for putting on the ends of things, or where you got some detail that you want to work with. We also carry black dimensionals, so if you're doing something that is of a darker nature, using some of our darker neutrals, then the black doesn't show up like the white does so much. So let's put that on there. Now, this one's also going to go with the dimensionals, but we're not going to have to stack these because this is going to go across the gifts, and so all I'm going to do is just run it across like that, keep the dimensionals in the middle where they'll be on top of the gift die cut, And we'll put that like that. Stack those. Cut our ribbon, our twine, our fiber, whatever you want to call it. And, you know, Stampin' Up! Is very generous. It's going to call for 30 pieces of 12-inch fiber, but I can tell you that when you finish with this, you will not have used all 30 pieces, or you will use 30 pieces. You will most likely not use the entire spool of the fiber. And so this is a great tying fiber that would be great to make some bows or any other sort of embellishment on the cards that we'll be making. That's the add-on to this kit. Then the other thing that Stampin' Up! Does is in the fall, so we have an August to December, what we call mini catalog, that highlights the winter holidays. And so it has holidays like this, Christmas, and then we also have New Year's, Thanksgiving, back to school, Halloween, harvest. So anything that you're looking to make cards for, this is a great catalog to use. It's not as big as the annual catalog, so there's not quite as much to look at, which is good. Can be good. Let's see. So this is the next piece. This has looks like the fur. And it is the oval. You can see that. So we'll put the oval there. Then we're going to have the ornament, which we will attach to the oval with the dimensionals. So let's do that very easily. And this is also a great time if you've been thinking about working with Stampin' Up! This is a great time of year to do it. We have, like I said, the annual catalog is active right now. Our annual catalog starts in the early summer and runs 12 months. And then we have the mini catalog right now that is the August to December with the holidays in it. But you can order out of either catalog. And this is also a great time to join, which means you become what we call happy shoppers. You can become a demonstrator. That doesn't mean you have to have classes. You don't have to have classes. You don't have to have parties. We call that term being a happy shopper because as soon as you become a happy shopper, you automatically get a 20% discount on the list price of everything in the catalog. And who doesn't want a discount? The best, and the other thing is, so let's say you were to buy the kit to make this class, that's $30. And let's say you wanted to buy one for your sister. Well, okay, and you were going to treat her, and you were going to pay $30 for her kit. Well, that's at $60. And you thought, well, you know what? I think maybe my sister-in-law or my mother or somebody else in the group wants this as well. And let's say you buy 3 kits and you're at $90. Well, guess what? You can become a demonstrator and become a happy shopper. When your order gets close to $100, you can actually turn around and order $125 worth of merchandise for only $99. And you don't pay any shipping on that. So it's really a great deal. If you think you're going to be ordering a little bit more than just the average small order, you think you'll be putting together a little bit for some gifts, you know, these are great kits. This is a great opportunity. And for September, we actually are running another special that if you join in September, and when I say join, it's, you know, it's like some of these other companies where you have a preferred customer, where you have a standing discount. That's very similar to what we're talking about. But if you join in September, then we have a joining special that will give you 2 additional stamp sets that don't go against your minimum purchase. Your $99 of $125 for $99. You can pick anything out of the book you want for that. And you get 2 additional stamp sets from the company, as well as kits to make two sets of kits to make two different types of cards. So if you want to hurry up and jump in and start making cards immediately, you can. Okay, so let's get on down to our cardinal. Let's move this and our ornaments and our stocking out of the way. We're going to get our cardinal, and we're going to get this piece. And we're going to get this base. You can see it looks like sort of almost like mistletoe, but not exactly. So we know that we will attach our cardinal with the dimensionals. So we'll put our cardinal here, and we're using, again, the single flag, single fishtail. Oh, we're using Back to Shaded Spruce, and we're using 'Tis the Season again. Now, I should have stamped those together at the same time. In the early part, I didn't. I did not read through my directions very closely. You know, someone asked me, well, what are you doing on your Worktable Wednesday? They asked me a couple of days ago, and I said, well, I don't know. It depends on what's on my table on Wednesday. Because literally, I come in here, and whatever I have out, or I'm getting ready to work on, is what I show you on Wednesday. Sometimes it could be a kit. Sometimes it could be scrapbook pages. Sometimes, like we talked about last week, it had to do with some organizational tips. So, you know, it's just anybody's guess. Now, if there's something in particular that you would like to see, if you have questions about a certain set, or you'd like to see some inspiration for some sets, I'll be more than glad to try to help you out there. Just let me know between now and, say, next Monday. So that way, if it's a set that I have, I can help you out. If it's a set that I don't have, I'll be more than glad to help you out in trying to find some inspiration online. So let's put our cardinal on here. I keep dragging this down. And then we will attach him again with dimensionals. And because it hangs off the front of the cardinal's breast right here, we're probably going to need to put double dimensionals on this side just so that it's at the right, oopsie, I forgot to take the backing off, so that it's at the right height. This reminds me of back when I was a little kid, we used to sometimes get little stick-on decorations for Christmas gifts, and they were always so cool, and I thought it was so cool to see when they all went together. So there's that. And you see, now we've barely been at this for we haven't even been crafting for 30 minutes because I talked for a while on the front end, but I already have 4 cards made, and if I had the assembly line set up, it would be much faster than this even. Well, I'm having a little trouble with the rib. There we go. So let's do this. Let's tuck that out. Now be thinking, if anybody has figured out the mistake that I made on the first card, see if anybody can remember, can tell, and if you can tell me that, that would be awesome. Because, and I have to tell you, I'm looking, oh, I see there's some comments coming on. Let me see if I can get my comments to show up over here. Okay, so Marilyn is there. Hey, Marilyn, and so is Patience. Have either one of you figured out the mistake that I made on my cards? So there is the cardinal card. And then the last 2 cards we're going to be stamping with Real Red, which, if you all know me, I've talked about this in the past. Real Red often leads to what appears to be a crime scene when I use it, so I have to be very careful because I get it all over me. I mean, all over me. So the top card is going to have the red with the little flowers, the oval, and a Christmas tree, and just the plain banner like this. And the bottom card uses the same simple banner. So I'm going to stamp both of these at the same time while I have that out. And I joke about this. It's not really a crime scene, but it looks like it sometimes when I get the red out. And it's not just the Real Red. It's the Poppy Parade, the Real Red, the Cherry Cobbler. If I get that stuff out, I'm telling you, if I get it on me, it goes everywhere. And it does generally look like there's been a very unfortunate accident. So let's look at this. So now we're going to take our stamp and we'll put it down on the block. I put it at an angle so then you aren't trying to artificially line it up with anything. So tap, tap, tap. Let's come over here, and it just fits perfectly. Like I said, Stampin' Up! Does all the work. They cut everything. Everything is pre-cut. sized perfectly. Obviously, everything is, the inks are to match. You know, you don't have to do a lot of work and a lot of thinking about this. And you can do a lot of work and you can do a lot of thinking about it. But if you just want to make a set, and you know what? How many of you are going away Thanksgiving? I know it's still kind of strange with the holiday and everything, with the virus, but just think about it. If you're going away for Thanksgiving, wouldn't this kit, if you made up this kit, you could even split it and do 15 and 15. But what a great hostess gift this would make for whoever's hosting you for Thanksgiving. Now, if you're hosting everyone for Thanksgiving, sorry, but you can always use this. You could even go ahead and make place cards if you have a Christmas, if you're doing a group Christmas dinner and you have seated dinner, you could make place cards with these. Or you could actually use these, and if you're having a buffet, you could label your offerings on your buffet using these tags to decorate. You could simply take white cardstock and label what the food is, and then you could tie a tag to the corner of it to make it look like a gift. So there are a lot of things you can do with this little kit. So we'll set this over here to the side a little bit. All right, and then back to our ribbon, or excuse me, our string, whatever you want to call it. About 12 inches. And then I just drug all of my scraps through here. All of my trash just came over across, and there come the dimensionals backings. Goodness gracious. So I hope we get to go out of town for Thanksgiving. We traditionally go to my sister-in-law's house, and it is a wild time. Our immediate family, with all of my husband's siblings and their kids and grandchildren and everything else, it's not hard to believe we end up with close to 40 to 50 people in or out of the house. And I don't know how that's going to happen this year, if that's going to be the case or what we're going to do. And if we don't, then you know what, we're going to work through it. The other thing that we do in our family, we always start decorating for Christmas right after Thanksgiving. So if we don't go anywhere, then we'll have a head start. There's tag number 5, and then now we're going to wrap it up with tag number 6. And you've guessed it, you figured it out. It's going to be the striped base, and it's going to be the spray of, I don't know what that is, holly, some sort of a holly. This is like a holly berry, and then this is some sort of another greenery, and then it looks like almost wheat shafts, which I know that's sheaths, but I know that's not it, or I think that's not it. It doesn't matter. And it goes on the oblong, or the one that's a little oval. It's got some detail on it. So we will, again, take our favorite dimensionals and put those on there. And stick those down. Okay, so let me ask a question. What is everybody most looking forward to for the holidays? And what I really want to know, what do you like more? Do you like Christmas or Thanksgiving more? Which one's your favorite holiday? That's kind of a hard decision to make because they have such different dynamics for us. I love getting to see all of my family at Thanksgiving and the craziness that happens. It's just all sorts of activity in and out of the house. But I do love Christmas Eve after church, coming home and having a Christmas Eve dinner and it being nice and quiet. So it's, that's really the best of both worlds. And then you throw in on top of that New Year's Eve, and goodness, you get a whole, we got 5-6 weeks of just straight parties. So, all right, let's see. Here's the last one. And I found that if you make a tiny little crease in that ribbon, in that fiber, it does go through that hole just a little bit better. Oh, that one got way crookedy. And then the thing with this knot, it's really called, I think, a half hitch or a clove hitch. I think it's a clove hitch. So all you can do is just grab onto the part that goes across kind of a bar. So you can grab on that, loosen the knot, and then you can just straighten up your ends and tighten it back down. That's one of the simplest knots you can make. And then, like I said, they have overhand knot at the ends. And then trim these. And there you have it. In less than about 30 minutes, it took us a few more minutes, like I said, I talked, we made 6 beautiful tags. We made this. So you've got the greenery, you've got the tree, the cardinal, the ornament, the presents, and the stocking. Now, did anybody figure out what I did wrong? Did anybody? Well, I'm going to have to fess up and tell you. And this is typical. This is the same mistake I make. And I knew I was making it after I made the first mistake. I made it on all the subsequent cards. Or excuse me, tags. When you're making tags like this, the first thing you should do is pick the color of your choice and stamp to and from on the back of this tag. Now, I can still do that and not have any problem with it, but I'm going to want to go through and find the right color, stamp my to and my from, then they'll be perfectly ready to go to use for the holiday season. So as soon as I put this one together, or the first one together, I realized I'd forgotten the 2 froms. And I was like, well, okay, moving on. So I like these tags. They're big. They're not those tiny little tags that sometimes you get at the store when you get 175 tags for $1, whatever that is. So these are nice. These are substantial. You know, it wouldn't take much if you wanted to give someone a hostess gift of a bottle of wine or a little bag of snacks. You know, you could almost put the tag on, and this could almost be the decoration itself. So this is what we've got coming up on the second of the Christmas countdown classes. Like I said, the first one is going to be cards in September, and in October we'll have the tag kit, which requires an advanced purchase of the kits. But you can look for more detail on that at Dream in Color on Facebook, or go to my website, www.dreamincolor72207.com. Always, if you are looking for a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'll be more than glad to help you out. I'm in Arkansas, but I do have an online presence, and so anything that I can do to help you with your paper crafting needs, I would love to be able to help you out. So that's what we've got for the Worktable Wednesday Live. And back to the original question, is it too early for Christmas? No, it's never too early for Christmas. And in fact, being the fact that it's the first part of September, I'm actually a little behind schedule, because usually by now, I've already played a couple of Christmas songs on the stereo by now. So, a couple of things I wanted to show you real quickly. I've made one card with this set. I forgot to show you that. So this is the big sentiment in the middle, and I've used that sentiment to make a very simple card. So this is another great card that you can make very quickly. You've cut your back designer series paper. You have cut a banner out of designer series paper. This is cut out of a 2x3 piece of cardstock. Put a little bit of ribbon on there, and look at that. You have a beautiful, beautiful, simple Christmas greeting card. So if you think you might want to make your greeting cards this year, this is a great way to start looking at this. So if you think you might want to do that, be sure and talk to me. I can help you out and help you come up with a simple and achievable project, not one that has so many steps in it that after the 3rd or 4th card you're exhausted. So let me know. And again, it's never too early to start thinking about Christmas. Take care, have a great week, and I'll see everybody next week. Bye-bye.